it is time to have a little discussion about artificial intelligence and the use of it because I see a lot of things, especially on the generative AI side, where people are yelling and complaining about how different things about the way it works. It steals information, it does this, it does that. Okay, let's look at what AI does before all that, and we'll have a rational discussion, I hope. Um, I did a little research because I work in artificial intelligence. So I know a lot about the industry. I know a lot of what the different companies are out there doing. I see stuff before it ever hits the market. Developed a few things for my company that we use in different ways on the predictive analytics side. But what are different types of AI that we actually use we may not realize we're using? And the argument with generative AI is, well, it steals from people and generates art. But let's look at some other forms. We're not going to get into that just yet. Maps and navigation. We've been using these little devices to do navigation around town for quite a while. We've used GPS devices. We've used ways to sort of, okay, well, let's look and see if that way is busy. We know that traffic. If I go down this highway, that it's all red. It's all bad traffic. That phone will pop up and say, hey, look, how do I get around it? And here's an answer. Well, if you think about it for a minute, number one, it put a lot of map makers out of work, right? We fired a bunch of people and closed down a bunch of companies because these things came in, and nobody had a problem with that. It takes information from my phone and tells Apple, it tells Google Maps, it tells whoever that, hey, I'm moving slowly down this road. This road is congested. Send somebody somewhere else. It steals my information, which I agree to under the terms and conditions, and it sends that information to you. So is that theft? It's taking it, it's using it for someone else's benefit. I had to go sit through that traffic, so shouldn't you have to sit through it too? Okay, well, maybe not. But that is essentially taking some information from me, giving it to you, and I get no compensation for that, but my ass gets to go sit in the traffic jam, right? Because I didn't find out fast enough that the traffic jam was there. Okay, there's one. Facial detection and recognition is another one that people are going to say, "Oh, that's not AI." I don't care what you want to make an argument about true AI or not true AI. I work in the field. These are things that are considered AI by the industry. Okay, facial detection and recognition. Um, Computers use your phone especially uses a lot of facial recognition tools to log into your banking app to do other things that keep things safe and secure. And it uses a large data bank of information to compare your eyes to other people, and it's not just your face; it's lots of faces. That one isn't so much theft because you have to really opt into it, and you do have to record your face. So that one, okay, that one isn't theft, right? So let's put that one on the other side. But maps and navigation, I would argue, actually, there is some information and data theft going on, but nobody seems to care, right? Because we all like that one. So one bad, one good. Text editors and autocorrect. Okay, I get this one, but isn't that text editor or that autocorrect stealing information from the dictionary? Webster's, used to be a gigantic company. Everybody had 5 dictionaries in their house. Is that stealing or is that just general public information? And is that kind of stealing okay? Is that maybe good AI, bad AI? What is it? Okay, let's get outside of that. Let's go to Grammarly, correction. That one in particular has to take large data banks of information to really kind of get that stuff correct. But we use it. A lot of people use it every day. I use it. I love that stuff, right? It tells me when my grammar's bad. Is that theft? Well, it's taking tons of information and compiling it to kind of give you that better grammar, but nobody seems to complain about that one. So we'll put that under theft, but we don't care. Okay. Now, search and recommendation algorithms. The way those things work, like when you go to Google or you go to Amazon or you go anywhere else, it knows your search history. It knows what you're asking. It knows other people with similar search histories and what they've asked. And it says, hey, look, this has worked for other people to be the one they click on. Or it gives you the one that has a paid ad on it. But either way, but under the SEO rules, it says, hey, look, here's the ones that are relevant to your search based on a whole bunch of criteria that I've learned from you and from other people, from other people. You see where I'm going with this? It's taking my information and helping you find information faster. Is that good or bad? Is that theft? Is that not theft? Maybe, a lot of a lot of people would be in that help me find information category still, because there used to be people that, were in that let me help you find the information you need business. And we don't have employees that do that anymore anywhere because we got search algorithms. I get it. That's a thing we all like, but still it's taking information from one person and using it for someone else. So it's kind of the same level. It's still theft, but not at, sort of generating things. Chatbots, you really have to program a lot of information into. So I'm going to put that as not theft because we don't really use ChatGPT and other stuff for chatbots yet. The way those things work is you really have to structure them quite specifically. They're getting to where they can use generative AI. They're not quite there yet. They will be on this category of, we're going to use a lot of information, but right now a human really has to tell them what to say the first time, and then they know how to do it a lot. So that one's sort of in this nebulous territory of uh, stealing but not stealing. Digital assistants, and this category I'm going to put into note taking in a meeting. So at work I use, and a lot of other people use, especially on Zoom meetings, these new tools that are digital assistants that take a lot of notes for you. And there's more digital assistant than that, and we'll get to that in a second. But the note taking especially is sort of a voice recognition tool that says, hey, look, I've listened to enough people say the word tomb, or enough people say the word look, enough people say spider, that I understand what it sounds like with 85 different accents. And the computer can then take that word and turn it into text. That's not, yeah, is it artificial intelligence? That does fall into that category, but without having a large data bank of the way different people actually say those words, you have to have trained it somehow. And we're kind of okay with that one because everybody uses it to send text messages and we all like it, but that's okay. But remember, it's still stealing information from somebody else and it's using it to someone else's benefit. Other forms of digital assistants are people that help you kind of figure out your programs that kind of help you figure out your schedule. But again, it's learning a lot from past history and not just from your past history, from a lot of people's past history, and is using you to kind of help figure out your day. But again, we kind of like that one because everybody uses it and it's kind of neat and we didn't think about it, but it is actually taking data from one place and using it somewhere else. And we're not compensating the people we took that data from. And in none of these cases is anybody being compensated. We're just taking data and using it, but we don't seem to care. Social media. So the algorithms on different social media platforms are really designed to do one thing. They're designed to make sure you stay happy and stay on the platform longer today. Right. So you log into Twitter, you log into YouTube, you log into Facebook, wherever, and you go forward and say, aha, I want to go look at videos that Jon Stewart did. And it'll show you a lot of stuff that people, okay, here's a bunch of Jon Stewart videos. And hey, other people that watch Jon Stewart also watch this other stuff. So it's using your information. A lot of people who viewed those videos, it's using that information to show me stuff I might like to stay on that platform longer. That's stealing my behavior, benefiting the company because they are actually the ones that are getting their eyeballs on the screen longer, but nobody seems to care about that one because it's producing a better social media product, and we kind of like that. However, wouldn't it be nice if they compensated all their users? It's not going to happen, otherwise those companies got a business, and we're kind of okay with that because then we still get to be consumers and consume a product we like. Um, this one also, I want to point out there's one more I want to talk about, and then we'll get to the generative AI side. Remember, we're kind of like so I've gone through seven, we're kind of at two over here on the not really theft, but sort of five over here on the theft side, if you've been keeping score. But again, we don't complain about these thefts because we like them, right? Now this one, keeping credit card transactions safe and secure. Have you ever used a credit card or gotten an alert on your phone that said, hey, somebody's trying to use your credit card? Is this you? Yes or no? And you have to click it, otherwise they won't approve the transaction. Well, what that thing is doing is it's looking for things that are out of pattern, but it's not just basing it on your pattern. It's basing it on a lot of consumer behavior and people who are similar to use pattern. Because if it just had to do it on yours, I don't use my credit cards frequently enough to go off and say, hey, this is exactly Tim's pattern. What they're doing is they're aggregating information from lots of credit card users and finding, okay, well, this group of people has similar behavior, this group of people has similar behavior, and they're using that information in an artificially intelligent fashion to, in seconds, tell whether or not a transaction falls out of pattern. And that information is then used to keep your credit card secure. But again, it's using my information to help you. So is that theft or is that okay? All right. But it benefits everybody. So we're kind of okay with that version of theft, right? Now, if you're following, that's sort of out of eight, we've got sort of six that are theft, but we're not complaining, and two that really aren't. Now let's get to generative AI. Now, generative AI, Chat GPT, Google Gemini, I think they renamed it to, the art stuff, computer generated versions of generating content, but I have to prompt it. That's the big question of the day. And yes, is it harvesting information from the net? But we've already established there's six of them that are harvesting information from the net, and two on my list that aren't. And we don't really complain. Now, all of a sudden with this one, we're going to yell and scream and cry. But I could tell you from experience, these things, even if I prompt it to do something, I have to be the person that gives it that prompt. And then it gives me back something that maybe I can edit and I can do a final draft of, I can put in Photoshop and brush up. But I can produce something much quicker than I used to be able to. And yeah, it falls in this category of it's harvesting information off the net, but it's not the only one there. It's just the only one anybody ever complains about. So I'm just curious, why is it on that one we're drawing this line in the sand, but on all these others we don't really care? I'd really like to hear from people on why that one is the one that seems to be the one that gets all the attention, and everybody kind of runs crazy around and says, "Oh my God, we need to stop it." It's not that we need to stop it; it's just it's become a little more obvious. All these others, I think, were out there. I'm not sure people realize exactly how it is those things work. Now all of a sudden we it's become too human-like, I think, is the answer. It's like, oh, it's a little bit too human, so it kind of freaks us out a little bit. And is it really bad, or is it just the fact that we're not used to seeing it? You know, the theft argument, I think we have to let go because we got all these other ones that already fall in that category, and we haven't really complained about those. So unless you're willing to do without maps, text editor, grammar checkers, search recommendation algorithms, digital assistants, your social media algorithm feeding you stuff you want to see, credit card safety, unless you're willing to throw all those away, that theft argument, I don't think holds any water because we're taking all that information anyway and using it for people's benefit. So I'd love to hear your comments. Everybody have a great day. Click like, subscribe, follow, or tell me to be quiet. I don't really care because I'm not going to be quiet. But everybody have a great day.